Well, hello. I'm Sarah McCubbin, and I'm here today again with my friend Sarah Miller. And she is going to share with us about her reading curriculum. I'm so excited about that. My 6-year-old daughter's learning to read right now, so this feels very fresh and relevant. And I have been chatting with her, picking her brain, learning all the mom things that I should have known when my oldest started reading, and she's going to share them with us today. So, welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I'm always really excited to talk to you.
Yeah, it's always great. So, tell me just a little bit about you and your background teaching reading and whatnot.
Sure. So I'm a homeschool mom as well. My kiddos are 8 and 5, and both are fluent readers at this point. They both really love books and they love to stay up late with a flashlight and read. So that has been really fun just walking through that process with the both of them. And then I'm also a teacher. So before my kids were born, I spent a little over a decade in both the public and private schools working with kids of various ages. And I also have Orton Gillingham training in reading. So I love working with homeschool families to help teach their kids how to read at home.
All right, that is awesome. So, I love that you have experience in more than one kind of learning environment. My kids have gone to public school, private school, done homeschool. It's all a little different, but it's all a little the
Mhm.
same too. So tell me about Orton Gillingham. Like, I've heard of it before. Like, what makes it special, that method of learning to read?
Sure. So Orton Gillingham is actually named after two people, Samuel Orton and Anna Gillingham, who were scientists, doctor, psychologists, researchers who were working on this method. And the method works really well, especially for kids with dyslexia, because it's very step by step. So it goes through the process and we're telling kids everything that they need to know, one little teeny tiny piece at a time. And so it's a fantastic, scientifically proven method for teaching kids to read. The challenge though is that it is very detailed, which is great when kids need that amount of detail, but also challenging to teach when you aren't familiar with the method. So one of the things that I try to do in my resources is to help make teaching a child to read accessible for parents who don't have an education background and don't have years of experience in the classroom. And so breaking down these techniques and the things that we need to know and like translating the research into everyday English so that parents can go out and take these best practices, these things that really work well, and use them for our kids in practical ways and in ways that also make reading fun.
Oh, that is like it just makes me feel light thinking about it. So is your curriculum like once you have it printed or whatever, is it pretty much open and go? Like it's designed for us to just pull it off the shelf and sit down and read?
Yeah, it is. So when I'm choosing a homeschool curriculum, I like ones that are really scripted and planned out for me because I want to spend my time with my kids and learning with my kids and teaching them, not planning lessons. And so that's how I designed it. So all of the planning and the organizing and stuff is all done for you. You just open to the day's lesson, and then the curriculum itself is scripted. So if you would like, it'll tell you exactly what to say to your child, and you just read those things. And then it'll have little tips for what to be looking for and to be listening for as your child is reading to you. So it's kind of like sitting down with a reading teacher and teaching your child how to read. Of course, you don't have to follow those things. If you want to go off the script, that's totally fine, but that is there for you. So if you're ever feeling intimidated or you're not sure what to do or what to say, all of that is provided inside of the lessons.
Yeah, I love that too because I feel like it's almost like you could, give it to dad if the lesson hasn't gotten done and he's not used to teaching the lesson. It's like, here, honey, like page 25 right there. You can read it with, which I love because my husband he wants to help, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll just do it myself because I wrote the lesson plan and I did all the work, so you can't figure it out. But this sounds like I could just give him the book and he could read the script with and maybe navigate it pretty easily. So,
Yeah, that's the goal. I always want to make sure that I'm empowering parents to be successful teachers. And so part of that is providing resources like this that are open and go. And then part of that is also providing like classes and help to parents so that we know what we need to know in order to really be successful teachers and to help our kids through any challenges that they face.
yeah, that's so helpful. I mean, and reading is often like the first big skill we're trying to teach our kids. So if we don't figure out how to do it well, I don't know. If I've when I've had a kid that struggled, I felt like a little bit of a failure. So, like it's about our children, obviously, but it also can like make us have some self-doubt if we can't figure out how to do it. So I love that you provide the tools for the parents.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's really true. I think that it's something to be said for that because when we're first starting with homeschooling, if we're starting with a child from the beginning, we're starting with, colors and shapes and those kinds of things for the most part are pretty easy to figure out. We can go find
mhm,
stuff on Pinterest or, there's cute little videos on YouTube or I mean there are lots of options, right? But reading is really like you said, it's that first skill where the rubber is really meeting the road and we really have to figure out a way to get our kids to learn this skill and some kids pick it up more easily than others, some struggle more than others, but it's sort of like the point where we have to make that commitment, like are we really doing this homeschooling thing, or when the going gets difficult are we going to have to find a different way?
that's right. I totally agree. So what age are most kids ready to read? I know there's like this whole range, and you said your daughter, is your daughter who's 5?
Mhm.
Yeah, so she's reading, and your son who's 8, is that what you said?
Mhm.
He's reading. So there's a whole range, but what do you think is like kind of the normal-ish start when people try it the first time anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because there's really a wide range, but I've seen kids as young as 3 and as old as 9 use the
Yeah.
curriculum. So it really depends on when your child is showing those signs of readiness and also when you as a teacher are ready to teach them. So one of the first things that we go through in the curriculum is your child ready to read? And we talk about developmental signs and markers that you can be looking for that tell you that your child has the skills and is developmentally ready to learn. And then we also talk about what to do if they aren't and how to prepare them and lay the foundation so that when you do come to those more formal reading lessons, your child is going to have the skills that they need and also the motivation that they need to really be successful.
Okay, so that's awesome. That's like right at the beginning of the curriculum that you kind of navigate some of those common hurdles.
Mhm.
Because you're right, like it is. It's partly like the skills and it's partly the motivation to,
Mhm.
to want to actually read because some kids don't seem to want that right away. Now, um, I have used lots of reading curriculum. Other people probably have too. If it hasn't worked, how is reading better together different? What's different about what you've created than a lot of the things that are on the shelf?
Yeah, sure. There's a few big differences. I think we already talked about how the lessons are scripted and they're really short as well. So, my goal is that you'll be able to finish the full lesson in 10 to 15 minutes at the most. I want to make sure that you're having like really focused time with your child during those reading lessons. You sit down, you get it done, and then you're finished and you move on to something else. And we want to do that within our kids' attention span
Mhm.
because when the lesson drags on for 20 and 30 and 40 minutes, then our kids can start to get tired. And that's when that frustration and discouragement really starts to kick in. So we're trying to keep the lessons super short so that that doesn't happen. Another thing that's really different that a lot of parents really like is the side by side reading books. So, a lot of times when you're following a phonics curriculum, you get either the little decodable paragraph, which is great, but not very motivating for kids, or you get the storybook that often doesn't have a lot of plot, or like it doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Mhm.
And so in the Reading Better Together curriculum, we use side by side stories. And so these are designed for a parent and a child to read together. and alternating pages. So on the parent pages, there's more text, there's details that move the story along, there's things to make it interesting, characters and things like that, and situations that kids will be able to relate to, a soccer game or a dragon or,
Mm,
just things that are relatable for kids.
mhm.
And then on the child page is only words that your child already knows
Oh,
how to
I
read.
love that.
So they're getting the chance to read a fun story about a topic that they're interested in
Yeah.
along with you, but they're still able to do it with the skill set that they have. And those start in week 2 of the curriculum.
Wow.
So that's a really big part as well.
Now,
And then I
those are
think that
included in the curriculum, right? They're not like hard copy books. You like print, we can print these off. We can print off 2 copies if we want. Like if I want one and my child wants one, you can have
yeah,
2 copies, right? Do you have any of those with you? Do you have any of those books?
I do. Let's see here. So this is a soccer one. It's called the Big Kick.
Okay.
And so the way that this works is there's the parent page on this side, and these are, the longer section for the parent to read. And then there's the child section on this side with the words that only they know already.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It
But
seems
yeah,
like,
they're just like um print and fold in half. And there are directions in the curriculum. So when you get in there, you'll see there's like screenshots of exactly what settings to use on your printer if you're printing them at home. And there's a black and white file too, if you prefer that. And then if you're sending it to a printing company or like an office store to print, there are walkthrough videos and step-by-step directions of how to do that as well, so that it'll be easy to print these.
okay. I've actually, in all the reading curriculum I've seen, I've never seen something like that where it has the parent pages and the kid pages. Most of the time, the readers are the kid level. Whatever level they're at, that's the level the story progresses at. And
Mhm.
yeah, you don't have a lot of words if you're if everything's like short A or every word has to be short A. Like, okay, the
Yeah.
story is very limited. So this is a lot better. I like that.
Yeah, it's hard to make a coherent story with just short A and one that will motivate kids to be excited that they could read it. So,
Yes, I
yeah,
like
and I
that.
like these too because it gives kids an opportunity to get a break every page and to get a
Mm,
little mini reward. So, they read their one page and then they get to sit and take a
mm.
break from reading and listen to you read for an entire page. And they get just a little teeny like boost of reward there before they have to go back and read their next page. So it's not like, here's this giant book. It's so long that you can't even see the end. Read the whole thing, ready, go. They just have their one little page to
Yeah,
read and then they get to turn the page and get a break. So
yeah. No, I think you probably have sort of answered this, but I'm going to ask the question. If I have a kid that's really busy, like a really wiggly little boy or a daughter that's just like super busy and bounces around, likes to do lots of things, will this work for them? Will this curriculum work?
yeah, I think so. So those short lessons are really, really key for the kids that are having a hard time sitting down and focusing, because you want to teach them that skill of focus. And the way to do that is to try to focus for a shorter period of time, but to stay focused during that time. So you're doing just 5 minutes or just 10 minutes and really helping your child stay engaged for that time and then go off and do something else. And then over time, once they get to the point where they really can focus for that full 10 minutes, then you might add a little bit more. So we're teaching them the skill of focus by starting with just a short lesson there. And then also there are lots of hands-on activities and things in the curriculum that help kids stay engaged for that time period as well.
Okay, so it's not just like them sitting in a chair reading. There's other activities in the book or in the curriculum that are, is there a little bit of writing in there too? I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me. Or is it just reading? There's no writing, or is there some?
Some of the activities have a writing component, but it's always optional. So you
Okay,
wouldn't need to do it in order to use it.
okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Now, I think you said this earlier, but I'm going to ask it one more time. If I buy this curriculum, is it like already printed for me, or do I need to do something before it's ready? You know how we homeschool moms, we get like really excited and we buy something. Like, how much prep is involved before I can sit down and try this out with my kid?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's a digital curriculum, which means that you get access to everything inside of the curriculum hub. So as soon as you purchase it, you get like a password and an email to log in, and you'll have all of everything from the whole curriculum in there. And that's also great because it means that I can continue to add updates. So you get lifetime access to all of the updates and additions as I'm adding things to the curriculum. I just did that like last week. I think there's nine new bonuses. And
Oh,
so everybody that had previously purchased the curriculum has all of those in their hub now too. So when you go and log into the hub, you'll need to figure out printing of your thing. So either you can print it at home if you would prefer, and there's directions and screenshots and color or black and white files to choose from. Or if you would prefer, you can send it to a printing company. That's what I did with the curriculum because I had sort of an old, unreliable printer that was not going to cooperate with me very well. So I sent it to the Homeschool printing company. I don't have any kind of like kickback from them or anything. I just think they're fantastic. I've printed lots of curriculum through them, and it always comes like the quality is fantastic and the prices are really reasonable. So that's who I recommend. But you're welcome to send it to any office store or printer or wherever. And what you can do there is just upload the files to their site, and then they'll mail you the curriculum printed just like you would if you had ordered it from a website. So those are really great options as well. And there's like directions and walkthrough videos that show you exactly how to upload it if that's the route that you decide to go.
okay. And who knows, you try doing that once, you might do it with all your other digital files that you bought and are sitting on your hard drive. Like
Yeah.
I wish that option had been available when my kids were younger, or it maybe it was and I just didn't know about it, but I would have saved so much time to just send it off and have it come in the mail. Do you have one with you? Do you have one of your um
Mhm.
the the,
Yeah.
the copy is
Yeah,
like
here's
beautiful.
what they
Looks
sent
just
me. So
like
it's got like the little color, like the clear plastic thing on the
yeah,
front and the comb on the side, and then all the
yeah.
pages. So
Looks just
yeah,
like curriculum you buy. So, I mean, so
yeah,
it's all professional looking when you send it off and no work really. So,
right.
all right. Now, the question everybody always wonders then is how much does this cost?
Yeah, so the curriculum is $97, and that includes all of the lessons and the stories, all of the bonuses, and then also 1 year of access to support, which comes in the form of the Reading Better Together Club. So you get access to a private app. There's a community of parents in there who are using the curriculum, and I'm in there all the time answering questions, doing bonus classes, and providing extra resources as well.
Okay, well that part is like especially unique. I've actually never seen anything like that where there's like access to a live professional that can help me whenever my child, you know, isn't making any progress. I that's very unique. I've never seen that. And I own lots of reading curriculum because I like curriculum. So
I
I
do
love
too.
that. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a
Yeah.
prerequisite for homeschooling is that you have to
Mhm.
like curriculum and books and you buy more
Yeah,
than
my
you use.
bookshelf is over there, you
Yeah.
can't see it. Yeah, no, I have, I think you're right about that, and I think that it's really important, especially with reading, because the process of learning to read is a little bit different for every child,
Yes.
and even within a family, it's different for the different siblings, and so what worked for your oldest child may or may not work for the next one,
Yeah.
and that can be really frustrating, and especially if you've got this curriculum that you're using or that you like or that you bought, I don't like as a homeschool parent when I purchase a curriculum and the option is either it works or it doesn't, and then I have to put it on the shelf and go
Right.
get something else. And so my goal is that that is not an option for us. If something isn't working or if your child is getting stuck, then you can reach out and get help and support, and we can work through it and come up with suggestions and ideas to get them going again.
Yeah, no, that's like that piece, like I think you're that piece is like so valuable, like the access to like a like a learning coach person. Like, that would have saved me so much stress when I have one that's dyslexic and it was really hard trying to figure out how to help him. We like jumped around a lot because you don't know they're dyslexic at first and you don't
Right.
have, you don't have a reading expert in your house unless you buy, your curriculum, then reading better together, then you have someone to ask questions to, but I really didn't. So that piece
Mhm.
is so valuable. So I am going to drop all the links below this video for anybody that wants to take a look at it. I'll drop a link to the Reading Better Together curriculum. I'll drop a link to the Homeschool Printing Company so people can find that. And you know, you can go take a look. I've seen Sarah's curriculum. It's very thorough, very, very thorough. I couldn't believe how many pieces and parts she had going on in there. So this will help the wiggly kids and the ones that sit still, which is so reassuring. And I don't know, having kids be able to read, it helps them be independent learners, which is the part that's the most exciting. Once they can read, you can kind of get a little bit of freedom and they get a little bit of freedom from you. Everything doesn't rely on mom. So,
That's true.
um,
And then they can go and explore their own interests too. I think
yes,
that's really important.
whatever
You know,
books that are interesting to them that might not be interesting to you, which my kids
Mhm.
I don't know, my boys especially like graphic novel type stuff. And I do not I do not want to sit and read my boys graphic novels because
Mhm.
it doesn't work for me. So I love it when they can finally read something that they love and I don't have to be like, no, mommy won't do that with you.
Yeah.
Let me
Those
read
are
you a
so
book I
hard to read
like.
out loud because it's like, are you pointing to the speech bubble or
Yes,
changing the voices for each one?
they are
Yeah.
hard to read out loud, but they
Mhm.
like them. They like the pictures and
Yeah.
everything. And they're great early reading once they get the basics down. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's not good for me though. So, and I'll just
Yeah.
be honest, part of this is about me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they are amazing though.
Yeah,
And there are some really great new ones out there
yes.
too. I was just looking at them again because one of the bonuses that I just added is a list of first
Oh,
reading books to use when you finish the curriculum. And so there's a whole section in there of graphic novels that are good for early readers.
oh,
And
that's
there are
awesome.
some really great new ones out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's all new too. I don't feel like my oldest son had very, very many choices, but now there's so many good things. So,
Mhm.
well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah. Thanks for sharing your curriculum. And I hope people will go check it out and get those kids reading who were struggling. And the moms can sit back and drink a cup of coffee and all the extra free time because now they're not spending 45 minutes or chasing their kid down to get back in here and do the reading lesson. I mean, I'm just speaking from experience. Just saying.
That's awesome. I
Uh,
love that.
yeah.
Um,
But thank you. Thank you for being here. It was awesome talking to you.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yes. See you next time.